Saturday nights. Bill Boshears in the Scizone. Thank you for joining me. Tonight, we're going to get into sex, politics, and religion. So just stick around. We've got your topic covered for you. We have some fun tonight with you and talk about some of the things that perhaps is on your mind. First off, this week, Wednesday, April the 23rd. That's Wednesday night. Yeah, it's Wednesday. At 7:30, if you'll join me. If you'll go to WBQC.com, register, and get yourself some tickets to a Wednesday night show at the AMC in the Newport on the Levee. There's a movie. It's a funny movie. I've seen the trailers to it. It is funny. Harold and Kumar, Escape from Guantanamo. It is funny. It's an adult thing. It's an R-rated. So if you would like to see a funny movie and join me there, we'll have some fun together, you and I. We'll bring a little more of that closer to home a little later. And thank you all for your email, your kind email from all over the country. Those of you who watch live and those of you who are maybe watching this in the archives, thank you for being there and for taking the time to download this. One of them comes from Roger. Roger is new to our country and happens to be in Cincinnati. And he says, though I'm new to your country, I am impressed with your television here, but I never hear you comment on Europe. I think you're probably right. I don't comment a lot on it. In the regard that the time that we have, whatever subject happens, if you're out there tonight, we'll hear from you. There's a lot, and I started doing, after that I started thinking about it, and I started doing some research. There's a lot of misnomers about the European Union. One is that there's a lot of unemployment. Not quite what you might think. I did some checking. Not anyone, not anymore. Half of the EU, 15 nations, have experienced full effective employment during this decade. And the unemployment rates have been the same or lower than the U.S. Think about that. Unemployment for the entire European Union, including the still emerging nations, Central and Western Europe, stands at a historical low of 6.75. In France, it's 8% and is at its all-time lows in 25 years, which leads me to think we're looking at a presidential election. That presidential election, I'd be quite honest with you, I'm very disappointed in. Another email comes in, and from Jimmy, and his wife is writing this for him. She says, I'm writing this for my husband who loves your show but can't work the computer. So I'm writing this for him. He wanted to know who you wanted for president and why, which is a fair question. Who I want for president, I can't get, or I don't think I'll get, but I'll tell you about who that is later. But I'd like to ask all of you the same question. In the upcoming minutes that we've got together here, the number's 381-3838. We've got, and here's the other thing. And I know I'm talking about politics here again, but not because it's on everybody's mind, but because it's something that I feel very strongly about. If we don't take control of our country before this election, we will never, ever have another opportunity the way we have tonight. The number 381-3838, jump in. I will try to, let's see if we get Brian here. Brian, you're on the air, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bill, this is Byron from Manassas, Virginia. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you.
I've got some interesting stuff on my website, if you're interested in it. I got videos of 6 automobiles that are fueled only with water.
And what's your website?
ByronWine.com.
Byron, I did a little bit of a show about you, and I did publicize it, but is that www Byron is spelled B-Y-R-O-N. Is that just...
WINE.com.
All right. And
You look in number 13-V. You'll find videos of 6 automobiles that are fueled entirely with water.
I'd like to talk to you about that. Take my email down, bill@scizone.com. I'd like to bring my car to you and just have you fix it, and I will run my car on water. How's that?
Well, that's good, Bill, but it's probably cheaper to buy the one they've got on the street in Japan.
Really?
I've got a clip from a Japanese news broadcast in that section, and they've got a water-fueled vehicle on the street.
Is that right?
Yep.
What kind of car is it, sir?
It's a minivan, a Toyota minivan.
A Toyota minivan running on water?
Yes.
And it's already for sale in Japan?
No, it's not. I don't know if it's for sale or not. It's on the street. The news clip shows the automobile driving on the street.
Well, why in the hell can't we have that here?
Politics.
Well, we can unpolitic it right quick.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Bill, but it's very difficult to get the information out. I'm just thankful that you're being allowed to do it.
Well, here's the part. Unless you and I since you're here, unless you and I talk about that, and I'm going to put you back on hold, and I want you to give my engineer or the guy answering the phone your telephone number and your contact information, or you can send it to me at bill@scizone.com, and you and I will talk tomorrow. And we will do a show, because I can't tell you, I could show you, but I can't tell you how many. I've got a stack of inquiries like that from people who want to know what you're talking about.
Well, Bill, if you lived in England in 2002, you could have bought a 104-mile-per-gallon Toyota.
Wow.
I've got the information on my webpage.
Okay.
In 1983, you could have bought a 72-mile-per-gallon Peugeot. So the technology is out there. It's just not here. It's other places.
Well, do you have just the technology, or do you have the apparatuses?
No, I don't have the apparatus. I've just got the information. We can talk about that later.
We will do that, sir. We will do that, I promise you. Byron, thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate it, sir.
Okay, well, nice talking to you, Bill.
Byron, how did you find out about this?
About what?
About me. Did you and
I... Oh, I've been looking for you for a year. I didn't know what happened to you.
I just fell off the planet. You and I did a show at WLW one night, did we not?
Yes, we've done several.
I think we ought to do. See, people, every time you change locations in the media, you change audiences. This audience would love to know all there is to know about that. Give them your website real slow again.
Okay, it's Byron, BYRON, all one word.
All right. Byron Wine, I appreciate your time and effort, sir. You and I will hook up this week. We will be back in touch. And I'm going to put you on hold. Would somebody in there please get his telephone number for me?
Bill, one other thing.
Yes,
I've got over 300 documents and videos on that page.
All right. Then that's a good education for anybody, and should be good enough for anybody. I appreciate your calling, Brian. I'm going to put you on hold right now. And
all right, thanks, Bill.
All right, thank you, sir. Would somebody please get his contact information? All right, good enough. Let's go. Let's take a break. What do you say? We got to do a break? Let's do that. Hey, don't go away. We got more just like that and a whole lot of you coming up right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Boshier. Stick around. It's all for you. Scizone. As I was saying earlier, you never know who's calling, you never know who's doing it. We were talking earlier about, and the question came up, talking about the unemployment and talking about Europe, and Byron Wine, Byron Wine is his name. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Tim. You're on the air, sir. Hello, Tim, once. I believe Tim hung up. Let's go to Greg. You're on the air, sir.
Hello, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Your question about who I'd like for president would be Ron Paul. I think he'd be the best candidate. I saw a show called Aaron Russo's America, and I highly recommend it to anyone that.
I saw Aaron Russo's picture, the thing too. Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
What platform of Ron Paul's do you like?
The taxation. I think we have to reduce unnecessary tax. I also think the Patriot Act. We have to repeal a lot of these laws because we're losing our rights.
Exactly.
And if we don't find a president that will stand up for our rights, we won't have any rights left.
See, I can't get the media to cover Ron Paul because they think he's a dark horse and not capable of winning, when in fact the opposite is exactly true. Now, Hillary may not want him, and neither will Barack Obama, and I know McCain don't want him. So that leaves you and me tonight and the rest of the people out there that would like to have him. And I think the best way to do it is to vote for the man.
I'm going to vote for him.
I appreciate your call there. Greg, thanks a bunch. I appreciate it, sir.
Bye.
Bye. Let's go to Bob. You're on the air, Bob.
Okay. I agree that Ron Paul's a man. He hasn't given up. The media says he's given up.
Yeah, that's the whole damn point.
Yeah.
And that's the media's viewpoint.
Yeah. Well, the Republicans and Democrats both are in the same category. They can't stand an honest person in there.
Let me ask you, Bob, what part of his platform do you like?
I'm sorry?
What part of his platform or his running do you aspire to or that you like?
Well, if Ron Paul hangs in there, maybe John McCain will break a leg or something, you know.
I don't know about that. Let me ask again.
But another thing I want to talk to you about is energy. There's a company called Dutchman Enterprises. They're looking for mechanics right now. And the present thing will make them about double the miles per gallon. And next year, they got a newer model coming out that it will get anything will get 100 miles per gallon. And that's using, they separate the water and take the hydrogen out of it.
Yes.
And they use a little bit of gas with it, too.
I think they use the gas to jumpstart the engine or something like that, and then it's cut off.
Yeah, it's a complex thing, but go to, I'll give you the website here, okay?
Okay.
Go to www.preignitioncc.com/special. Got that?
Got it.
Okay. And they're really looking for mechanics right now, too, and they're giving correspondence courses, you know, and people can make $400 a day.
How they're installing these things?
They're trying to get enough mechanics. They want to get 200,000 out there this year yet, I think. And next year they got a newer model coming out, which you do have to take the catalytic converter off on the next one.
Bob, here's the thing. If let's say there's 200,000 men that are mechanics, get jobs, and each one of those guys does a conversion a day. That's 200,000 cars a day.
Right.
If they do that for 10 days, we've got 1 million cars on the road.
Uh-huh.
Once we get 1 million cars on the road, the use of fuel will start to decline.
Yeah, I believe it will too. It has to.
And our dependency on oil, that, by the way, we don't buy from the Middle East. We get it from Mexico and Canada.
Right.
And the demand for that should drop radically.
Yeah.
That would cause a group of people to do one of two things. Either drop the price so that the rest of the people enjoy it. But see, they did that once before back in '76.
Right.
I want that all stopped. I want to stop the dependency on oil, period.
Absolutely, yeah.
Bob, I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Got you.
Bye.
Let's go to, who's next here? Let's go to Loretta. Loretta, you're on the air.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm calling about, I hear everything about, except the Native American Indian.
You're calling about what?
The American Native Indian. You know, the Native Indian?
The American Indian?
Yes.
Okay, what about them?
How come they don't do nothing for the Indians? They're still in slavery.
Okay. You're listening to your radio in the background. Talk to me. Let that go.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'd like to know why they're going to help the American Indians.
You want to know when we're going to help the American Indians?
Right. Right now they got them in poverty.
Okay. Well, I couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, the land belongs to them. The American land belongs to the Indians.
Well,
And they're giving everybody else, the blacks, whites, and everybody else, Mexicans, whatever, jobs and that, but not the American Indians.
okay, I understand, Loretta, but I don't have much of a comment on it. I'm not that well versed. I got to go to break because I'm losing.
Okay, I understand.
I got to go because I'm losing my chroma key out here.
Okay.
All right, dear. Thank you. By the way, you want to go to break? Let's do that, please. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away. Your phone calls are important. 381-3838. There's a line open. Get in there, will you? Hurry in there. Hey, back in the Scizone, thank you for joining me tonight. We were talking about, it's been across the board here tonight. I was going to talk about politics, sex, and religion, but quickly, if you're just joining us this week, go to WBQC and register to get the tickets for Escape from Guatemala, Guantanamo. It's a different place in Guatemala, don't go there. No, it's Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Harold and Komar. Funny movie. And it's 7:30 Wednesday at the AMC Theater. Join me. You'll have some fun. I guarantee it. Anyway, back to the phones to Joe and Sylvester and Jody and all the rest of you. And for those of you who email me, bill@scizone.com, thank you. It's always a pleasure to hear from you and your request. Let's go to somebody been there the longest. Let's go to Jody. Whoa, I'm sorry, hang on. Jody, you're on the air.
Oh, hey, Bill?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw out a couple of comments, okay? Like, I would like to see Barack Obama be president, but there's two things, okay? You know, he's like a fresh face and all that good stuff, but I can remember when Jimmy Carter became president, we were coming out of a terrible economy, and everybody thought, well, he's a fresh face and he's a good man, and we kind of went right into the toilet with him. And so,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What about Barack Obama's platform that's really swayed you to vote for him?
Well, really, I tell you the truth, I'm more wanting Clinton, but I don't think Clinton will ever get elected, and if she does, she'll divide this country. And it'll be another 8 years of Republicans after that.
Well, it's not going to change if she gets in.
Yeah.
Secondly, what about her platform do you like?
See, I just want change is what it comes down to. I just want change. I'm tired of George Bush. I don't want McCain because that's just the same old song and dance, and we don't need that in America. We're falling apart as it is.
Have you considered Ron Paul?
I don't really know much about him. See, the person I kind of liked in the beginning of all this mess, I liked Joseph Biden. I think he was the smartest person, and since we're at war, I kind of thought that he would have been a really good leader because he has a lot of experience in that foreign affairs and stuff there. But
I want somebody with experience.
Yeah.
I wanted, and I can't get this guy, I wanted Colin Powell.
Oh, yeah, he'd have been good.
It would have been great.
Yeah.
I don't think he feels like he should approach it because of the egg on his face because of Bush. Yeah. But I think the American people would have stepped forward and said, hey, he's a hell of a lot better than McCain.
What do you think about the possibility? I mean, I don't know if it would ever happen, but what about if it is, let's say, Barack and that Michael Bloomberg or whatever, the guy from New York, do you think they'd ever team up?
No.
They'd never team up?
No, I don't think they'll team up. And I'll be honest with you, there's nothing about Barack Obama that excites me to make me vote for him.
It's just because he's not, to me, like I say, he could end up being a disaster if he did become president. I don't know.
I think the candidates they've got, all three of them, are complete disasters.
Oh, yeah?
Waiting to happen. I don't think any of them have the experience they tout.
Yeah.
They lie, they cheat, and they steal to get your vote, and then they'll do any damn thing they want to.
I think all politicians are liars. The way I've always said it is I want the people that are the crooks and the liars that do the lying for my side of of the policy and of the world, whereas we've had their liars for the last 8 years.
We saw what a bang-up job Condoleezza Rice did in the Middle East.
Yeah.
What a loser that woman is. And I don't think a woman, particularly Hillary Clinton, has got any kind of experience.
Yeah, she kind of gets under my skin because of all this Bosnia lies about gunfire and all that stuff. It just shows she's like trying to paint herself as somebody that's been a hands-on person all this time, and I don't believe any of that.
I don't believe her husband, George Bush, Barack Obama. I don't believe any of them.
Yeah. Well,
now, I would like to see Mr. Paul take a look at it, and he's supposed to be in Kentucky, and they said, would you go interview him? I said, I'll be happy to.
Oh, yeah?
And if we do, we'll bring that. Hell, we'll bring him into the studio. I'd do a whole show with him.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'll come or not. Anyway, hey, I appreciate the call, Joe. Thank you, sir.
All right, bye.
You got it. Let's go to Joe out there. Joe, you're on the air.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to respond to your question about whom we support. I'm another who supports Ron Paul at this point.
What about his platform? I'm asking that question. That impresses you.
Yeah, it's a good question. Many things about his platform impress me. First of all, I would say, is the fact that he's pro-life. That's one issue that has been obscured in the present election cycle, I think, but it remains the most important human right that there is. All other rights are built around that.
Well, I have to agree with you that's very important, but I don't believe that a bunch of old bald-headed men sitting around somewhere have the right to tell somebody something as precious about life. They don't even know how to respect it when it comes to war, so how in the hell can they know what to do with it? That's the part I don't like.
Well, if we don't have a right to life, then we really don't have a right to anything.
Well, it makes sense, but I don't want to go there. Go ahead. You had another train of thought.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to do that. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's more. I think that I like his economic program. He does want to raise tariffs, which I think is desperately needed.
It's got to be. You've got to have tariffs up to stop this insanity with all of these other countries going, well, your dollar's no good. We want to trade with you, but your dollar's it's no good. They want the dollar. See, notoriously, when the interest rates go down, people jump all over your dollar so they can come back in later and buy your country up.
Well, I think it's even understandable more clearly in terms of fundamental rights, Bill. Just as the right to life requires protection by law, that is to say, you have to have laws that prohibit things like murder, regardless of the form. You have to have laws protecting liberty. But you have to understand what the essential nature of liberty is in the first place.
We have to have laws that protect the jobs, that protect our economy, that protect all of the rights. If we don't have the jobs, you can forget it. It's over. We're not looking at a recession. We're looking at a depression.
Yeah, absolutely true.
I appreciate it. I got to run, brother. Thank you. I'm up against it here, but I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Let's go to Sylvester. Quickly, you're on the air.
Yes, on the war in the United States, we already have so many illegal Mexicans here and so many illegals. You've lost the war on that. They've taken over the country. You can wait and see Texas, Arizona, all the southwestern states will go back to Mexico. They're just took it over. They'll vote to take it all back.
Okay. I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you.
Lost it.
Anyway, are we? Is it the bottom of our time? Let's do a break. We'll come right back with your phone calls. 381-3838. Don't. It's you. Let's do it. Then I want to talk to you tonight, right here in the Scizone. You know, I love our commercials more than any other thing about this show. I love my commercials. There's things about those commercials I really like. Which reminds me, we have a new one. It's the Acme Bomb Shelter group. They are producing new bomb shelters, and their phrase is, by the time you need it, it's too late to build it. We'll be showing you some more clips from them. Anyway, let's go back to the phone, and for the people who've been there long, let's go to Ted. Ted, you've been there. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, as regards to our politicians, I think the people here are in a situation of the good cop, bad cop. No matter who gets in there, the other one's going to be painted a bleak and bad picture, and that they really do not care about the people.
They don't.
A good example is the other night on CET on Frontline.
Yeah.
The gentleman, he used to write for the Washington Post. He went to 5 different countries and looked at their health care. And for us being the richest, economic nation in the world, we are just miserable as far as the health care, taking care of our people in this country. You can go to Britain. People there don't have to pay a bill hardly.
I've got that in front of me. I've got that report. Somebody condensed it and sent it to me. We've got a lot of stereotype assumptions that our politicians have about it. European countries' economy has surged.
Yes.
It is maintained fairness and equality, unlike the United States, which is rampant inequality and lack of universal access to affordable health care.
Oh, exactly.
Now, there's somebody sent me, some congressman, senator, somebody sent me an email today, wanted me to take a look at a plan that he's got and wanted me to endorse it. And what it is, you pay $1 a day for your health care, and I don't know all the particulars of it, but your employer cannot take it away from you, neither can the government, and it covers you completely.
Yes. Well, as long as you allow the politicians to allow these lobbyists to come in and buy them, we'll never ever see any changes. It's almost like having the fox guard the hen house.
See, we have got a little clip, and I want to run it. It's Uncle Jay, and he talks about it. The reason I couldn't figure out why in the hell we had to have K Street, it's because these lazy louts that we've got for congressmen and senators are a bunch of losers. They don't do their homework. They don't stay home. They don't stay in the office. They don't do business. They get out and they loaf, or I don't know what the hell they're constantly coming home, constantly on vacation, got to take a trip, got to look at this, and they're doing nothing for me. I'm tired of it, and so is America. Anyway, I appreciate the call, Ted. Thank you, sir.
You have a good night.
I like these guys. They're on top of it. It's been there the longest is Robin. Robin, you're on the air.
Hello, Bill. How are you this evening?
I'm phenomenally well. Go ahead.
Good. Well, actually, I agree with the last caller, and I think you ought to call them like they really are, the Three Stooges.
Oh, they are that.
It's the pathetic comedy routine of the debates recently demonstrated. They're stooges for big business, the oil companies, and everything else.
You know what? I don't know that they get the money from them, and I think they threaten them to the point like something like Jesse Jackson does. If you don't help me, we're going to boycott you or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tired of K Street. Now, if you don't know about Washington, K Street is where all the lobbyists hang out.
Right.
I'm tired of being hustled by K Street.
Right.
The congressmen and the senators don't know they're being hustled and scammed. They're from fumble switch nowhere. They go to Washington, and it's kind of like, well, we're here. And they get hook, lined, and sinkered in because some of the old-timers give them and says, come here, boy, I'm going to show you a thing or two.
Sure, they're bedazzled by everything.
Eddie Murphy did a movie some time ago about a congressman, a guy who went to Congress. Does anybody in there know the name of that movie? Anyway, phenomenal movie, but was more accurate, and it was actually so accurate it was scary. That's the point I'm making.
Right.
Robin, I appreciate your call, dear. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Good night. Let's go to Jake. Jake, you're on the air, sir.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Thank you for being there.
Well, in response to your question about who would you want for president,
yeah,
I would have loved to seen Ron Paul.
I'd love to see Ron Paul. I've yet to see anybody who says I want to have Hillary. Okay. Ugh. You want to stab yourself with a damn fork when you hear these people go, she's just a woman and she deserves it. This moron couldn't, she's too, I'll shut up, Jake, before my blood pressure blows. I can't stand her. I can't stand that other doofus that's running. Neither one of them got any experience. And then she comes up with this ad. Who's going to answer the call at 3:30 in the morning? I would hope to God she wouldn't. Well, where are we, in Bosnia or are we in Iwo Jima? Huh? Where are we?
Fire raining down on it.
Yeah, what a lying lout.
What I love about Ron Paul, he's pro-life, pro-gun, small government. That's what I like in a politician.
Well, you got my vote. Hey, I appreciate the call, Jake. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Cindy. Cindy, you're there. Hello, Cindy once.
Yes.
Go ahead. You're on the air, dear.
Oh, I wanted to say a couple things. First of all, Ron Paul, I think the biggest thing about him that would change the country is getting rid of the Federal Reserve. That's the underlying problem with our entire economy, with a whole bunch of things, and about who controls the country.
How is the Federal Reserve, do you think, is messing up this country?
Well, the whole money system is based on credit. It's not really money. It's debt.
Well, we have nothing to back our money up.
That is correct. And
see,
well, I mean, if I were dictator, I would just go to the Federal Reserve Bank in New York and take all the gold back because they stole it from us in the first place.
I don't even know that they've got it.
Well, they might have sent it to Europe, but I'm not absolutely positive about this, but I understand that the euro is backed 10% by gold.
All we've got to do in this country is back 10% of the dollar with gold. It'll be all over. It'll be back on top, end of story. But I defy you to take a euro into any bank in Europe and get gold for it. You can't.
Well, I understand. Just like you used to be able to take a dollar bill and, you'd have to have more than a dollar, but you were supposed to be able to redeem it at the Federal Reserve Bank here. But I mean, even when we were still on the gold standard, if you tried to redeem it, the only thing you'd get is another piece of paper that's worthless. It's a note. It's
called fiat money.
It's an IOU.
It's called
all credit and it's debt.
Okay, I appreciate the call. Thank you.
Thanks.
It's called fiat money, dear. Fiat meaning light, nothing. We're going to take a pause in the action here. I'm going to go talk to my sponsors, the people who have the ever-ready fluid for your taillights, and we're out. We're back. Thank you for joining me tonight. Bill Boshears in the Scizone. Telephone number 381-3838. When somebody hangs up, jump in. Let's go to somebody been there the longest. Let's go to Annette. You're on the air, Annette.
Hey, Bill.
Hi.
I have 2 points of observation. If you are a Roman Catholic, you should not vote for John McCain. He stood behind this hellfire brimstone preacher while the preacher called the Roman Catholics whore of bad. No wonder the Pope doesn't want to eat at the White House. It's the same preacher that backed, I think it's Hagee or something like that. Okay. And Walmart, that's stupid. 64% of this country is Roman Catholic. I mean, how dumb can you be? Okay, Walmart, I heard on my business news, I believe it was Monday, is putting in surveillance cameras. They're going to film anyone that purchases firearms. That's our Second Amendment right, and I love Ron Paul for backing our Constitution.
All right, kid, I appreciate it. Thank you, Annette. Let's go to Greg. Greg, you're on the air, sir.
Yes, hello, Bill.
How you doing?
Just fine. How are you?
Doing well.
I'd like to talk about Hillary Clinton, the fact that she's even able to run for office is just absurd to me. I had understood that during the 60s she was actually a card-carrying member of the Communist Party.
That's exactly right.
Which makes her ineligible to hold public office. You can't buy a gun if you were ever a card-carrying member of the Nazi Party or the Communist Party. It's considered under disability.
Well,
so what's she doing in office?
Well, if you have the media scared to death of you, and you have the FBI files on most of the other congressmen and senators, they won't bring it up. It's only talk show hosts across America that have brought it up, and there's still some stuff to come out on her that you don't know about, that I don't think she can be elected. I really don't. Not once it comes out.
Well,
and when it comes out, we may bring it out right here.
Well, as far as she's concerned, she's Satan in a dress.
All right, brother, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go to Lee. Lee, you're on the air.
Yeah, Bill, how you doing?
Doing well, sir. Glad to have you.
I'll tell you what, all these politicians and that, you can ram them. I'm going to tell you where this country went to pot, and you're not going to believe this. When you think about it, when they cleaned up organized crime and the government tried to run all these things, that's really where it went downhill. The organized crime, I think, kept a lot of people in line, and I think they were almost like a police force for you.
Well, what did they do for the country? I don't understand that.
Well, they ran your drugs for one thing.
Okay.
Which there's more drugs now with the organized crime not involved.
Well, I don't know that they're not involved, but the CIA is running the drugs now.
I think the unions have sold out. I think that a certain amount of the unions with the organized crime involved kept prices down, and there was just a certain amount of policing going on in neighborhoods and everything else. I think you just are being run by the government now, and there's more corruption and there's more people on the take than there was when it was supposedly bad.
Well, there's a lot more people on the take. I would have to agree with you there. I appreciate the call, Lee. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's go to JC. You're on the air.
I wouldn't vote for Hillary because she's queer, and I don't want to queer in there.
We don't need that kind of talk. They're lesbians. I guess they are. I guess you could call it that, but thank you for that point of interest. And you not wanting a lesbian in the White House is perfectly okay with me. I don't believe it's a good, safe way to be, because people can get you into compromising positions and hold it over your head. Bill Clinton is on record as saying that she gets more women than he does. He said that to Mr. Larry Nichols a number of times and other highway patrolmen. We have there's a lot about Hillary that you don't know. The fact that she was a muumuu-wearing, card-carrying communist when she got to Arkansas, and the people in Arkansas know about it, and they don't want her or Bill back. The fact that him being in the White House or being governor did absolutely nothing for the state. It was a fiasco from day one. It was corruption. Hillary's relatives are a part of the Chicago mob. Lassiter and the rest of them, all a part of that mob. Let's go to Elliot on line 1. By the way, there's 2 lines open, 381-3838. We got about 12 minutes to go. Get Elliot in here on the air, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Bill.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Working on the rest of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a college student up at NKU, and I really think it is pretty crazy how many CEOs are politicians are former CEOs of oil companies. I think the media is a really powerful tool nowadays, and people have really become satisfied with the idea of less is more, and they just take what they're fed and they just eat it.
If good men do nothing, chaos comes out of it. They get run over. If they always do what they always did, they'll always get what they always got. We've got complacency, apathy is running rampant in this country, and people don't give a damn because it's not bothering them until
how can we
they
change it?
Well, first off, you have to decide that something is wrong. Most people believe that what they see on television and they watch these debates, that the debates are what it's all about. Has nothing to do with getting elected.
There's too many bigots.
I don't know. I don't care about the bigots. There's not enough information being disseminated to people to understand that it's the Electoral College that elects the president, not some damn debate or some caucus. That has nothing to do with it. George Bush stole the last election.
Yeah.
You're a college student. You ought to know all about that.
Yep.
You ought to have
About
that.
it.
That ought to be the reason.
I voted.
That ought to
voted
be
last election.
That ought to be the reason you and your schoolmates ought to be rioting in the streets. You ought to have marches every day protesting the way this country is being operated. Because, my friend, you are the one that's going to inherit it. We've had our day. Do you realize in the next 10 years, they're going to take 40 million jobs out of this country? I don't know what you're training for in college, but it's probably useless. What are you majoring in?
Well, I just declared a business major.
What kind of business?
I think I might go into marketing.
Oh, you're going to be, okay, well, good luck. My point is that it's changing radically. They want to export your jobs.
I mean, with every generation, it's always been kind of a little confusing to figure out where you're going. You just kind of have to roll with the punches. I mean, that's what I'm banking on.
Well, I hope you've got a big bank account. Good luck to you. Thank you, my
Thanks,
friend.
Bill.
Have a good one. We'll take a pause in the action and come right back with your question. Now, don't go away. We're here. Stick around. Back in the Scizone quickly. We'll take his calls as fast as we can. Damien, you're on the air.
I was calling about the last caller, and I think you hit it right on the nose about the people's not getting enough education. I mean, that education information, and that's the problem. We're not getting the education for the people to understand the information that is out there, because the information is out there. You just got to know how to find it.
You got to know where to look, and this is the only show I know of that's talking about it in terms that makes sense. Damien, I appreciate your call. You're anytime. You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Let's go to Greg. You're on the air. Greg?
Yes, sir. George Bush stole the last two elections, not just the last one. The other thing is, I saw Hillary Clinton in Barack Obama's debate the other night, and Hillary Clinton was very upset with Barack Obama about a certain acquaintance he had and served on a board together when her husband pardoned the same group of people. Could you comment on that, please? Thank you.
Thank you. He has a tendency to, in his last days in office, to pardon a group of people that supported him, who were out of the country, and his wife, one of the guys, I can't think of his name, but I know the party you're talking about. She bought him a saxophone for him to play. You may remember the news piece. Let's go to Ted. Ted, you're on the air.
Yeah, Bill, just a quick comment on your quotes there. Here's one that the people ought to really think about, and it was made by Joseph Stalin. It's not those who cast the vote that count, but those who count the vote.
Boy, I'll tell you, you're right there.
And with this electoral college, you know, when it comes to presidential elections, I think every individual needs to have their vote count, not the electorate.
Do you know that there are votes from that George Bush stole that never got counted in Florida?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
They're out of Texas, Florida, and everywhere else. See, I don't think that ought to be allowed.
I agree.
And I don't want some guy sitting in some booth somewhere in New York City forecasting who's going to win.
Yes. You have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Every week, right here in the Scizone, we take a look at things that perhaps don't make the news media. Doesn't get legs, doesn't get a lot of exposure. But by giving it to you on the weekend at a leisure time, maybe it's done some good. Maybe you'll decide that it's time to take your country back. If so, I suggest we join hands each week right here in the Scizone, and we'll cover those issues and those debates and bring you up to speed and keep you there. Because we can't continue to do what we're doing. I have not heard any candidate approach joblessness, getting jobs back in here. I've heard them say, well, we're going to do away with NAFTA and GATT, or I'm going to make some changes. You couldn't change NAFTA and GATT if you wanted to, because you don't have the votes nor the clout to do it, but the American public does. I've not heard one comment from any one of the candidates tell you about the transnational highway coming through Texas right now and taking people's land away from them all throughout Texas. If I lived in Texas, I don't see why you people don't load and lock and take it back. See, you can't go out and just take a man's land away from him just because you think it's something you want to build. Join me here each week, right here in the Scizone. And by the way, don't forget to go to WBQC and register for those free tickets for that movie. You and I will have some fun this week, right here. So join me next week. Good night.